الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين. اللهم يسر ولا تعسر. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for another opportunity that He gave us today to come and try our best to get to understand some verses or some information that the Quran has given us, and also the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ has taught, with the saying of the scholars of the past. We're going to combine everything that we learn and see how best we can practice our religion, because the idea is to be able to practice our religion in the right manner. To do that, we were using the book Manzumatul Qurtabi في العبادات على مذهب إمام مالك رضي الله عنه. This small book that we're using, we go through it regarding the way in which we worship, things that are correct or things that are accepted and things that are not accepted. In a nutshell, the idea here, we are going to take advantage of that.
This meeting is being
to
recorded.
Make sure that anything that we do in our deen, we do it in the right manner. It is very important. Whatever we do in the deen, we should know how it is, which part of it is compulsory, which part of it is sunnah, which part of it is mustahab. If we build this culture of understanding, it makes it easier for us at any given time. Whenever there's a problem, we know how to deal with it. For indeed, knowing the position of that particular deed makes it easier for us to be able to practice the deen properly. In our discussion in the previous lesson, we spoke about wudu, the fard part of wudu, the sunnah part of wudu, and we spoke about things that nullify our wudu. We spoke about haid, which is menstruation, last week, and we also spoke about nifas, which is the postnatal bleeding. And one sister was asking regarding when there is a discharge at any given time in a life, what do a woman does in that situation? And the answer was very clear. As long as it's not part of the period, it does not spoil wudu, but it's encouraged at any given time. Any woman that is going through lots of discharge, it's better to use pad and keep changing, but that does not spoil wudu. But it's encouraged if she wants to make wudu at any given time, that's fine. But if we talk about things that nullify wudu, that is not part of it. So we need to be clear on that. Now, talking about Gusul, we said that the Gusul, which is the spiritual bath that a Muslim will have, There are considered about 12 different types of ghusl in Islam. 12 different types of ghusl in Islam, which inshallah as we go, I'll try the best to talk about all these 12. But to start with, I'm going to look at what we call what are the compulsory aspect. What makes it compulsory on any individual to have a ghusl? That is what we want to look at now. So it started by saying Babu Mujibat al-Ghusl. So which means things that make ghusl compulsory. Not how to make the ghusl, but the things that if you find yourself in, automatically you need to have a ghusl. Those are the things we're going to look at. موجبات الغسل أربع تعين أولها إنزال حين يقترن بلذة معتادة قد وصف بذاك قوم أو مغيب الخشفة في الفرج ماذا من القياس ثم انقطاع الحيض والنفاس وذا هو الثاني على ما يذكر والثالث الموت به فاعتبروا والرابع الإسلام تم العدد فاعمل بما تعلم فهو المقصود أو مقصد. موجبات الغسل, things that made ghusl compulsory upon every individual, أربع, they are 4 compulsory aspects. Things that will make ghusl compulsory on us are 4. أولها إنزال حين يقترن بلذة معتادة. Al-Inzal, that is for sperm to come out of a person. بلذة معتادة. But this sperm came out in the state in which it's normal. Everyone knows the reasons and the timing in which a sperm will come out of a person. لذة معتادة, with the desire that comes with it. Very important to acknowledge here. Someone sat down watching naked women on the TV, on the computer, on the phone. They end up with some discharge. This is not mani. This is what we call al-madhi or al-wadi, depending on the thickness, on when and how it came. This does not make someone has to have ghusl. This is just to wash and make wudu. The same thing applies to al-mula'aba, a person who is having a foreplay with a partner and then got a discharge. This discharge is not mani, it's not sperm. Maniyu is stronger and thicker than maziyu and wadiyu. We need to look at this carefully. So when a person is in that situation and the discharge came out, that person does not need to make ghusl. But when we say al-inzal here, we mean mani, we mean sperm. Sperm will come out of intercourse. There should be a sexual intercourse before sperm comes out. Or it will come out when a person is in a state of masturbation. Masturbation is haram, it's not Islam. We are only talking about the concept of sperm here. Now, if a person is in a state when sperm comes out, regardless of the situation, but it came out in a way in which is a normal way for a sperm to come out, that is in a state of desire that normally a person will go through before discharging a sperm, then that person needs to have ghusl. I want you, please everyone, follow carefully. Anything that create any doubt or any question, feel free, write it down or type it from now, or keep it when it comes to question time to ask. Very important. We are talking about the deen, not personal interest. So number one, inzal, which is for sperm to come out, regardless whether it is in sleep or a person is awake. That person needs to have ghusl. Because in sleep, it will happen because the person is in a state of intercourse or whatever the person might find himself in the sleep. And because of that, when they wake up, they saw that they are wet because of the sperm. They need to have ghusl before prayer and change their clothes as well. Number one, that is number one. Regardless, it has to be whether in the sleep or awake whilst a person in a state of sexual intercourse. Now, let's take for instance, because of a weather, because of a hardship, because of a problem that someone was in or out of fear, then a sperm came out of that person. Normally, this is not mu'tada. This is not the normal way in which a sperm will come out of a person. Just because the person is in a fear, or because the weather is really too cold, or the weather was too hot, or the person was beaten in a state where the fear is too strong that made the person the sperm comes out of that person. That does not make the person has to have ghusl, because that is not the normal way. So number one, when we talk about inzal, here we mean janaba. One of the main concepts of having ghusl is janaba, which can happen to both masculine and feminine. This janaba also is divided into two. The first part one is what I made mention, for sperm to come out in the normal way that it's known to be coming out with a desire. Number two, mughibul khashafa fil farj. Mughibul khashafa fil farj here, that is when the glands, where the circumcised part of male private part, when it enters the woman's private part, regardless whether the sexual intercourse continued or not, whether sperm came out of both of them or not, as long as that part has entered her, both of them will have ghusl regardless. With this also goes further with explanation, not only if the person enters in human, even if the person did it with animal, he has to have ghusl. Or if a woman did with the animal, she needs to have ghusl. It went on for explanation. If a man makes intention of having sexual intercourse and he played with his private part, or he masturbated, whether he came or not, he will have ghusl. The same thing applies to women. When she have intention of having sexual intercourse with anything, whether it's a stick, whether it's animal, whether it's her own hand, as long as it entered her, at that moment, she will have ghusl. So look at this. All that we made mention is janaba. Janab, it is compulsory when a person goes through what I just made mention to have ghusl. Number two, haid, which is menstruation. Now, a lesson previously, when a woman completed or the blood of menstruation has finished, stopped, she will have ghusl and pray. In this situation also is the same thing. And there's a clarification here. Not all women in the time of menstruation will see blood as normal as others see. There are small fraction of women who the blood will not come out, but they know at that moment they are in the state of menstruation. They have different signs that they see in their life that makes them know at this moment we are in a state of menstruation. And for your information, when a woman is in a state of menstruation, that does not make her filthy. Islam considers menstruation like a sickness that every month a woman will shed out those filthy part of her which is going throughout from the blood. So like the Jew who will say when a woman is in a state of menstruation, she will not touch anything in the house, they won't eat her cooking, she will be put aside some side of the house. Islam is not like that. She is respected. She is part of day-to-day affairs of the house. The husband can get closer to her. He can play with her even in bed. The only thing is there won't be physical sexual intercourse with them when she is in the state of menstruation. But he can play with her. They can do anything that they want as a couple to keep each other happy even at that stage. The only thing is no sexual intercourse, physical, in that state. That's all. But cooking, washing, sleeping on the same bed, nothing. Islam did not stop that. So that mentality of disrespecting women when they are in the state of menstruation is not Islam. Islam has no space for that. No space for that. Now, this menstruation, when a woman completes, she will have a bath or ghusl and then start praying. If it's in the month of Ramadan, then start fasting. And at that moment also, her husband has the opportunity to get closer physical if it comes to sexual intercourse. So this is number 2, one of the things that will make ghusl become compulsory. Number 3, what will make ghusl become compulsory is an-nifas. Nifas, which is what we also spoke about last week, and that is postnatal bleeding, after birth. And we spoke about this, the time, the days. There are those who went with 40 days. There are those who went with 60 days. Wallahu a'lam, whichever you hold regarding the evidence they put is up to you. But with that also, when a woman had a child, even if the day that she had the baby, that was the same day that the blood stops, she will have ghusl and start praying. Very important to look at this. It has nothing to do with the culture of if a woman had a child for 40 days, there's no prayer. This is not Islam. It has nothing to do with specific days, no prayer. No, it all goes to the sequential of how the blood flows. So if a woman had a child and it happens to be through cesarean and it did not affect her cycle at that moment, even that very day, as long as she is healthy enough to pray, I'm not talking about standing, even if she's lying down to pray, she will pray as long as she is not in a state of menstruation or nifas. So ignore the concept of if I have a child or if a woman had a child, 40 days no prayer. There's nothing like that. It all goes down to how long the blood flows. Number 4, one of the things that also makes ghusl become compulsory on a person is when a Muslim becomes a Muslim. So when someone comes and takes shahada, you encourage the person by going to have a ghusl. And for your information, they don't need someone in the bathroom with them to bath them. That is not the case. Remember, which we will come to the ghusl and how it's being performed. But in general sense, you just tell the person, make intention of having ghusl, which is something that will wipe, purify you, and cleanse you from all the things that are impure, pre-Islamic to your life. And now, they should just make the intention, turn the tap on, and go under the shower and wash the whole body. No one has to go in the bathroom with him or her to show him or her or to bath that person. There's nothing like that in Islam. Islam forbade people to look at the nakedness of one another, to the extent they are not even allowed to look at the nakedness of a dead person. الناظر والمنظور في النار. The one that is being looked and the one who is looking, both of them are committing sin. So there's nothing that says that you need to go and give that person a bath because they became a Muslim. Nothing of that sort. Very important to acknowledge, the only people who are allowed at the same time in the bathroom, whether naked or whatever, is husband and wife. They can have a shower together. Islam does not forbid that. But apart from that, not even siblings, when they reach certain stage of age, said, don't even allow them in the same bed. Separate them. So it's very important. Don't bring that sort of unnecessary excuse. They are running late since they are all boys. Go to the shower together. No, that's not accepted. We need to be very careful, because Islam is good for a person to create what we call shyness. Al-haya'u fi din. Al-haya'u min al-iman. Shyness is part of iman. We need to be shy in a way that we protect ourselves. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged his companions to always be shy. I remember there was one of the hikayats regarding even Fir'aun with all his evil act. One of the things that was related to Fir'aun regarding him and Allah is because he is very, very shy person. To the extent Allah is telling Musa, be careful with Fir'aun. I'm even shy of him. If you talk to him with respect. At their time, they don't have clothes that they wear or undies. But Fir'aun will put one wrapper and put another just to protect his private path to be exposed when he stands in front of people to talk. So such a person, with all his evil act, he is so shy. What of we that our religion taught us to be shy? So we need to abstain from looking at other people's nakedness, or when someone becomes Muslim, we just say, let me go and show you how to have a Gusul in the bathroom. We don't have to do that. It has nothing to do with the deen. With this information that I made mention, these are the four main things that will make Gusul become compulsory on you. Now we have some other things, or some other things that will make Gusul becomes Sunnah in your life. So we have what we call Jahana. Jahanaku. Jim is for Janaba, which we spoke about, both male and female, regarding sexual intercourse or having a dream or masturbation or whatever. Number 2, Ha for Haid, which is menstruation. Noon for Nifas, and Kaf, Kafir idha aslama. We have 4 types of, or 4 other things that will make Ghusl become Sunnah on us, that we are expected to have Ghusl because it's Sunnah. They are also 4. We abbreviate it by saying Jami'u. Jim for Ghusl al-Jum'ah. On the Jum'ah day, Friday, when you have Ghusl, purposely to go and pray, that Ghusl is Sunnah. If you do that, you get reward for it. We have Alif after Jami'u, Jim and Alif. Alif is for Ihram. A person who is performing Hajj, they will, the day when they are putting on the Ihram to make intention to start performing Hajj, they have Ghusl. That is Sunnah, not but it's Sunnah. Number 3, Mim, Mayyit. When a person dies, you wash the body. That washing is also Sunnah. And then the Ain at the end is Eidain, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Those 2 also, when you go into the Eid, you have Ghusl and go. These are also Sunnah. These are the 4. So we talk about Jum'ah, Ihram, Mayyit, and Eid. So those are the four that Mayyit and Eid. So those are the four that are Sunnah. We have another four that are Mustahab. When we say Mustahab, something that is encouraged. Doing and not doing, there's no problem with that. It's just encouraged. And that is Aida Basu. The Ain for Aida Basu. First of all, we got Al-Istihada. Istihada here, we're talking about a person who is in a state of menstruation. The time that the menstruation need to stop has passed, as we spoke about the 15 days, the 20 days for the pregnancy of 3 months, 25 days the pregnancy of 6 months, and also 40 days or 60 days after the birth. If the time that we are expecting the blood to stop did not stop, then you need to have ghusl and start praying. That is one. Number two, Dukhul Makkah. Those who are performing Hajj, the time that they're going to enter Makkah, they can also have ghusl. It's not compulsory. بعد غسل الميت, after giving the dead a bath, you will also be expected to have a bath. And that one is also Sunnah. So if you look at that, you can see different. But the ghusl itself is the same. There's not the ghusl by itself is the same. We will talk about that inshallah. But intentions, that what we're talking about, 4 fard, 4 sunnah, and then 4 mustahab. So those are what will make us to perform ghusl. Now, fara'id al-ghusl. The ghusl, if it's done, we look at the fara'id. What is the fard in ghusl? What are the compulsory aspects of the ghusl? الغسل فرض وله فروض. أولها نية is تفيد، وما به أيضا يسمى غسلا، ومن مطلق الماء الذي قد قل الفور والتدليق عند مالك شرط به يتم ما هنالك. فهذه 4 كما ترى تلزم من كلفها من الورع. So al-ghusl is fard, which we'll talk about, but also the ghusl itself also have fara'id. The first one, an-niyya, intention. Everything in Islam, our intention is the starting point. Our intention is the starting point. So we need to be very careful. I remember sometimes there was an argument in December some years back. I can't remember. Someone said that he heard that someone is saying that when you say to your neighbor, Happy Christmas, automatically you have approved and believe that there are 3 gods, as those in Trinity will say. So when you say that, then you are pushing away what intention is all about when it comes to Islam. When you say that, you say, we don't encourage people to say that, but don't make it as if someone just said to his neighbor, Happy Christmas, automatically the person has believed in 3 gods. It's just like you going to Eid, and then your neighbor came out who is not a Muslim and said, Happy Eid, and automatically he is full and believe in Islam and he is getting reward. It does not work that way. So always it starts with our intention. So the ghusl, the first part of the ghusl is the intention, is to feed. Doing that will make it possible, or will make the ghusl accepted. Remember, when we talk about intention also, mahal niyya, I call the heart is the where the intention takes place. Nowhere else. That is where our intention is. We don't need to say it out loud. Number 2, for ghusl to be completed, you need water. Water is what you need to wash. So for instance, I'm in a state of junub. There's no water. it's time for prayer. I couldn't find water. Islam allowed me to have tayammum and pray. But does that mean that it has taken the ghusl away? No. Anytime I get water, I'll still have my ghusl. It's just the tayammum is what we call al-istib'a. It just allow me, give me opportunity to be able to pray in the state of junub, but it did not change my situation. So water is one of the things that you need as part of compulsory aspect of ghusl, of course. And the water, of course, we spoke about it at the time of water and types of water. It has to be clean, as scholars describe ma'u tahir al-mutahhir, water that is clean, that cleans others. وَالْفَوْرُ وَالتَّدْلِيقُ عِنْدَ مَالِكٍ. With Imam Malik, whilst you're having the ghusl, you need to do it systematic order and quickly finish. And also whilst pouring water, you have to what? Scrub the body. Some madhahib, as long as you go into the water and wet the whole body, it's okay. But Malik, as part of we are learning about Imam Malik, with his, you have to scrub the body as well. And with all that I made mention, these are what you need as compulsory. We will talk about the sunnah of ghusl as well, which is better we leave it next week and combine it with al-hayhat, the way the ghusl has to be done. And then we look at other ways in which you are allowed to do the ghusl. It's not always one way. So when you get all the options, it makes it easier, just in case when there's a problem on the way, you know at least I can do it this way or that way. So inshallah we will take Sunan al-Ghusl next week inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. With this topic that we spoke about, feel free, type your questions if you have any question, or unmute yourself now and ask your question. As we do that, we turn to Sheikh Ibrahim to read the hadith for us inshallah. Arba'una Nawawi.